Welcome back to Black Girl Couch Reviews. I'm your host, Christina. We are back for our Flash bonus season 5 podcast. We are going to be discussing season 5 up until from episode, not fully discussing all the episodes, but kind of giving an overview on how we felt about the season thus far. Episodes 1 through, I believe we're at 15, 14? Teen, can't remember. Should be around 14 or 15 though, because that's usually when they give their big two-parter, so it can't be more than 15. So I did get some feedback in. I'm so happy that I got some response, but thank you so much to Lamia and Cheyenne. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Correct me if I am wrong, but I got lots to discuss with you guys, and I got a few topics of my own, so we're going to get into the feedback first. I got 3 from Cheyenne. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And then I got 1 from Lamia, so I'll read 1 from Cheyenne first, and then I'll read Lamia's, and then we'll read the other 2 from Cheyenne, and then I'll read yours completely, and then I'll give my thoughts, unless it's something I can easily jump in and answer, just so I don't, jump on what your thoughts are regarding the season thus far, and some of your thoughts on what you're expecting. This should be a lot of fun. So, let's get to you, Miss Lamia. Yeah, I always think of the Blondie song from Maria every time I say your name. It's, probably a little embarrassing, but hello, Miss Christina. Hey, girl. Listening to your podcast, it seems to me like the Reverse Flash is your favorite villain. My favorite is Zoom. He was a straight up savage. I remember when he beat Barry's ass and flung him around like a rag doll in front of every cop at CCPD. I was thinking, damn, this Zoom dude really is unstoppable. And this season, when Barry and Nora went back in time to get parts to destroy Cicada's dagger and Zoom saw Nora, I swear to you, I was straight up scared for her. Like, legit frightened. Zoom looked at her like seeing her gave him an orgasm. Oh, yes, that's so true. The face he made was seriously priceless, and Barry seemed shooketh by that look too. So I'm going to pause right there, because every time I go back and watch that episode, the way his mouth was working like he just couldn't, like he just discovered some new thing, like his next heroin rush, like, oh hell yeah, I'm getting me some of that. So yeah, definitely I will get more into that. So moving on. Anyway, so why is the Reverse Flash your favorite, or is it really Tom Cavanaugh that makes you like Reverse Flash? So I think Reverse Flash is my favorite, probably because I am a little biased with the comics. However, it also adds another layer, because the character of Eobard Thawne is very complicated, as he explained in this season. The irony of it all. I wanted to be him, but I couldn't become him. Thus, it made me insane. And I realized the only way to do that was to become the reverse of him. That was Barry is in so many ways his obsession, his idol. And then he went back and then he became his, because I believe how the story goes, he looked up to him, he loved him, he was his number 1 fan, and then he ended up getting speed power, I believe, and then went forward in time, realized that he was going to become the basically the evil version of himself. You kind of get a parallel with this the most in season 3 with Savitar. Barry goes forward in time and see how everything he did pushed him closer and closer to his ultimate destiny. So with Reverse Flash seeing that, it broke him, and he decided, instead of trying to fight that fate, to try to, erase that, instead he would just live into that. And then he became Mortal Enemies And that's and then they went back in time and they were fighting, and he decided that he wanted to kill the mother because he thought that would be the ultimate way to stop Barry from ever existing, and in a sense never making his future possible. So that's a very conflicted, compacted story between two people that also now share this very odd mentor fatherish relationships. Barry Allen has a lot of daddies in his life, and this one is someone who hates him so much that he understands better than anyone his pain, and yet will still cause it. And there's just some kind of psyche there that I enjoy watching. And I guess it is actually Tom Cavanaugh did a really good job of him in season 1, but I honestly will say I liked oh shit, I'm gonna forget his name. Damn it. Oh, it is like right at the tip of my tongue too. But the actor who played him, it's gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to look it up. I need to know because I can't have that on my conscience. But yeah, I think he did a better job, only because now after I'm actually having a hard time this year with Tom Cavanaugh playing him, because now that I've seen him play so many other roles, I cannot take him as, he was good in the 20th episode, but in the future his scenes with Nora, and maybe it's just because he's with Nora, I don't like those scenes a lot because he doesn't feel authentic. And I think it's because the actor has to keep transitioning back into two different people. I honestly think he's doing too much. And if he's on the show permanently now, which of course I believe I don't want Tom Cavanaugh to leave, then I'd rather have them go ahead and truly go back to season 1, Reverse Thawne, Eobard Thawne, or Reverse Flash, because that's the guy I want to see, because it brings out also a side of Barry that I think I enjoy, that kind of Barry Allen Savitar side. I love Barry Allen going the good path, and I love that he's pulled back, but I also enjoy the fact that we get to walk on the wild side just a little bit, because it is fun to see our characters finally break and be justified in their anger, and finally lash out, and we see the true extent of their power, and then watch their restraint. And that's what you love Barry Allen for, is his restraint. I can just easily whop up 4 lightning bolts and kill you. However, I'm just gonna be like, no, because I have decided not to, despite the fact that you have done something terrible to my family. And it takes a huge strength of character to do that. So that's why I like Reverse Flash. Now, on the flip side though, Zoom is like half a breath second next. In the series thus far, I would say I like him more in the comics than I do in the series. See, in the series, I might have to, especially after the performance this year, I might have to start siding on the Zoom side, because like you said, he was just unstoppable. He was just savage. He's like, no, Barry, I just want you to be my evil buddy. Look at all this power we got. Like, I want to take your power. Oh, fuck, I can't take your power because apparently you're part of the fucking universe. Cool beans, whatever. Now I just want to kill you if you're going to keep killing me, because whatever. He just didn't give a fuck. That's what I loved about Zoom. That's what I thought we were getting with Cicada, and we didn't. And I really thought that was a shame, because that's the part that worked with Zoom. We didn't need to know his story. Even when we got his story, it wasn't like, there was no attention to feeling sorry for him. He was just straight up like, no, my dad killed my mom, and that's what made me who I am. And ooh, I should just kill your daddy, and that's gonna make you who you are. Like, I want you to turn. Like, the good of you pisses me off. I love Zoom. So yeah, I'm closer to you than I am to Reverse Flash in the show. So moving on, also, what are your predictions for the season finale? Whew, that's a lot. I'm gonna come back to you on that one. I hope we're still not dealing with Cicada's whack ass. I think we will be, unfortunately. I'm so tired of him. Me too. My thought about Nora is maybe she will do something to Marty McFly herself out of existence, sacrificing herself so Barry and Iris can live, and then when Iris does get pregnant because the timeline changed, they'll be twins. I always think about when Barry came out of the Speed Force in season 4, episode 1, and he said, "We're gonna need more diapers." I really believe the writers put that in there for a reason, and it's the only phrase that hasn't been accounted for yet. Well, that's all I got for now. Sorry I haven't written anything this week until now. My classes are getting to me, so I'm not caught up, girl. Don't even worry about it. I'm glad you were able to get some in. I know all about that very busy ass life. But you say you're not caught up on your shows yet. That's cool. But I'll still send you feedback on The Passage and The Umbrella Academy, which has quickly become my favorite series. Abe, girl, let me tell you something. That show, like, I need a season 2, like, today. They need to stop fucking around. I'm seeing them renewing shit right now. There needs to be a season 2 announcement so that my nerves can be calmed, and I know that we are actually going to get a season 2, because if we don't, shit gonna pop off. This is all I'm saying. It's gonna pop all the way the fuck off. I'm not cool with not getting a season 2. So, where are we with the questions here? Let me go back. Yeah. What are my predictions for the season finale? Oh, so many. I am on the same page with you, however, about Nora being Marty McFlying out of existence. How that's going to come about, I don't know. I don't think she can stay on the show. I was thinking, I should say, that she was going to go back to the future. However, thinking about the exact line in the first episode of this season, that's exactly what Barry said could happen. And the way that they are messing around, this is going to be terrible. This could really cement the Thawne as his true villain if he fucks with his daughter and she ends up sacrificing herself. That'll re-trigger the hatred between them, because remember, Barry's all, maybe Thawne can be saved. Not after you find out what you did. Nuh-uh. That is not how that conversation is going to go down. And yeah, I think you're right on with the twin thing. I don't think that line was a throwaway. I think actually they've been mentioning twins a lot this season. And they've also brought up the idea, because I think the only big thing that would have taken away from the Tornado Twins is the fact that the budget for the CGI, it costs so much money for the lightning effects that I'm pretty sure doing 2 of them may have given them pause, and why they haven't jumped on introducing the twin concept thus far in the show. But they put it out there to let you know, hey, we're going to figure this out, we're going to make it happen. And they keep bringing up how one twin can have powers and how the other can't, and that's how they basically have made the foundation for the cure, right? So I'm guessing that yes, it was going to be one daughter and now it's going to be twins, and that's because whatever happens in Crisis completely changes the timeline, because he said even Thawne knew back when they went back in the 20 years prior, he knew that there was a daughter. He didn't say, oh, where's your son? He said, oh yes, Dawn, right? That was supposed to be her name, and maybe this is what triggers in Barry's mind, and he thinks to name his daughter Dawn because something happens to Nora and it doesn't make sense to name their daughter after her. So yeah, I can definitely see her definitely sacrificing herself or doing something to die at the end of the season and give us our big character death without having to like kill off Cisco. I don't think they're going to kill off Cisco. I think they're really leaving the door open for Carlos Valdez to come back into the show. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to kill him off. But they do need to have consequences in a season, and I think killing off Nora would be just fine. And then it also gives the writers a chance to correct their mistake. And I guess this is where I can a little bit jump in about Nora West Allen and how she's been handled. A lot of fans want to like her, I feel, but they have an issue, like you said before, Lemmy, about wanting to whoop her ass. Yes, she is kind of, bratty, disrespectful. A lot of again, in the beginning, I could see it from her perspective. I understand that phase. We never want to look at people acting that way and agree with them because they're wrong, right? But we know that from the outside looking in. When you're in the moment, when you were having your moments when you weren't making the best decisions, you didn't think you weren't unjustified. You were in your feelings. And that's what Nora has been a good deal of her life, especially with her mom. And now she's in the future, and it doesn't just, dissolve away. She's she's immature. She's naive, and she's very smart, but she's also stubborn. And she does remind me a lot of Barry in season 1 and 2, and a good deal of season 3. And it sometimes is different when a female character, unfortunately, is doing some of the same things that a male character is doing, that may be judged a little more harshly. And it's easy to identify with the protagonist of Barry because we've watched his journey, whereas we really haven't seen Nora. She's just been this person that showed up and she's all up in their face. Now she's giving attitude and, she's clingy to Barry, and that's nice, but she's also secretive, and now she's working with Thawne, but she's not even being smart about it, and because it's very clear she's being taken advantage of. It's a lot to ask the audience to simply take on without feeling some kind of way about it, because again, she's supposed to be portraying the same age as Barry and Iris, and they don't act like that. Granted, they haven't had, because they both had tragedy. I was going to say things that matured them a little bit quicker, but she also had that as well. She lost her dad. So, I don't know, Miss Nora. I just don't. Most of the season, she has not bothered me. I will say the last few episodes, she has been getting on my nerves. And mostly it's because it's clear that at least if you're going to be in it with Thawne, be more assertive on where you're at. You seem to just be like, Thawne, tell me what to do. Thawne, are we making it worse? Oh, you listen to me. It doesn't even seem, it doesn't seem as plausible when you dumb her all the way down. If she's just, now even people are starting to think she's going to be a villain, which is crazy. I don't think they're going that route at all. I think that she can still, again, do things on the shady side for the greater good. Saving my father from dying, even though that's technically, and we can actually argue that Nora coming back may have already altered the timeline, because he was supposed to disappear in Crisis anyway, and Arrow was with him because they switched places, and maybe that has something to do with things that because what was it they were tracking? Damn it. Oh, I forgot. Oh, something. Anyway, the thing of it is, she could have been the reason why Oliver gave himself up and Barry's going to be saved. Who knows? All I know is that I hope when she comes back, she's a new character so that the fandom can really enjoy the actress, because I really do like Jessica Parker Kennedy. Hopefully I didn't switch that around, but yeah, I really like her, and she did a really wonderful job. She's a really good actress, and it's unfortunate that she's not being as well received, because she can really do the job well. And I think if given a second chance, I think also unfortunately, not to go too much on tangent, because I do got more feedback to get to, unfortunately, she would need to come back as Earth is it 2 or 3, where Jay Garrett was. Remember he brought that up, that he was going to be training a female speedster. I think that's a good way to bring Nora back, or because I don't see us getting to the twins anytime soon, and maybe that's going to be a question out there, because I didn't even finish your damn feedback. But no, yeah, I did. No, because you did ask about her being pregnant, that she'll be twins in this one. So yeah, I do think that it's not gonna we're never gonna see Nora in the future again. I think it's gonna just be this new future, and we're gonna be in this new reset, and then now we're truly in new territory. And I hope that really starts to leap the show forward, and that we start dealing with bigger things and stop with this big meta of the season. We don't need that anymore. We had it to establish. I'm not saying you can't have reoccurring villains, but yeah, you can have like several reoccurring villains. Let's do that. It's not boring, because when you focus on one person like Cicada and then they become a dud, you kind of hang your whole series on that. And at least if you got multiple players in the game, there's at least someone's got to like at least one of these storylines, right? So moving on, thanks Lamia again for the feedback. I thought I said I was going to do Try-Ons first and then Lamia's, but that's fine. We can totally get to yours next. Let's get to the one, I'm going to get to the oldest to the newest. So your first one sent 7 days ago. Hello, I found your flash. I'm already screwing up. Hello, I found your flash recap and review a couple of weeks ago and thought you were hilarious. Oh, thank you. I'm glad someone thinks so, and enjoyed listening to what you had to say. I wanted to send you an email and provide my feedback regarding the latest episode, Calls in Excess. I thought the episode was okay. I agree. I enjoyed certain aspects of it. The Cisco date scenes made me laugh and shake my head at the same time. I was like, Cisco, why? Just be yourself. You're almost 30 years old. So true. You are who you are. She either likes you or she doesn't. It's better to know early on. That is very true. Like, you way too old. This is not high school anymore. You even hitting or you quitting. I thought it was weird that they didn't show Iris talking to Nora about her reversing time 52 times, or talking to her or questioning her when she was freaking the fuck out during the first few times she reversed time because she was acting very shady. Agree. Instead, they show Sherlock once again being the one to question things. They all can't be this clueless. That was my biggest issue with that episode, was the fact that everyone was tuned all the way down to dumb as fuck. Yes, I understand it's the Flash and they use the villain gets away. Usually the villain gets away to fight another day trope quite often, but I'm not gonna lie, if they stand around one more time after Cicada goes down and just let him recover enough to get away, I'm going to lose my dang mind. Yes, after it 3 weeks in a row, I'd rather you just not show him. He just disappears. I just don't need, if you're going to use the trope, use it sparingly. You don't need to put it 3 episodes back to back. The first time I was, kind of defending the show. Now I agree with the criticism. It's overly done and it's getting dang stupid, especially when they actually put more than 20 to 30 seconds on the damn shot. He's supposed to be the one of the worst serial killers in history. I can't imagine how, yet they keep letting him get away without, or at least trying to put the cuffs on him. So many opportunities to do so, yet they stop once he's down, like mission accomplished. No, mission not accomplished. Did they not learn anything from the last time he got away? Exactly. I'm ready to get some answers and start progressing more with the story. I feel like the season is starting to drag a little bit. I'm excited to see what the last 8 episodes are going to bring. I'm happy that Joe will be back. Let me tell y'all something. I didn't know what episode he was coming back, but when I saw him with Iris, I almost bawled, because I did see that spoiler freaking shot, and I'm glad I did. I have no regrets. I'm happy that Joe will be back. I'm ready for Barry and Iris to make some Tornado Twins. Fans will be extremely pissed if they don't produce the Tornado Twins. I agree. I think I get where they're going. They want Nora to be the Bart Allen, but she can be Bart Allen from Earth 3. She does not need to be one of the Tornado Twins and take away from that shit. I'm ready for Nora's secret to be revealed and see the fallout for all of that. I agree. All I know is the Flash better bring it in the last episodes. It will be sad to see Carlos leave the show. I keep hoping it's smoke and mirrors, that someone else is actually leaving the show, that they have us so focused on thinking it's Carlos that we will not see it coming when we get hit with the unexpected news that it was someone else leaving. Personally, it wouldn't bother me if Danielle left the show. Barry doesn't need a doctor on demand anymore. He gets hurt, he heals quickly, end of story. Besides, they ruined Killer Frost for me. Why? Maybe they could do something in the last episodes to improve the character, but to this point, I'm over it. She's just a watered down version of Killer Frost right now. I can see that. I'll bit my thoughts a little bit in a minute. And not that they do something in the last episodes to... Oh, sorry, you already read that. I already read that. She just watered down version of Killer Frost right now and not intimidating at all. She spends more time on the ground than actually fighting. That is a really good meme. It's hard to take her seriously. I missed season 2 Killer Frost. She was badass and actual killer. Chayon. So, really good email. Great insight. I agree with almost everything you've said. Pretty much almost. We're pretty much on the same page where we are in the season. You know, it's hard. It's easier sometimes when, because I go back and listen to some of my old thoughts, and it's easy to see something from back then, and then when it's like 5 episodes later, you're like, oh, I totally get where you guys are coming from. And usually, like I said, to me, it's all about pacing it out and where you put it. I'm okay with the tropes as long as they're used sparingly, as long as they're, you make up for it, right? And I can definitely see why people would have a problem, I should say, with Killer Frost, because she's not a Killer Frost. Her name is Frost. She's Frost. She was Killer Frost in Earth 2, but she was never Killer Frost on Earth Prime. So for her to keep that mantle name is first and foremost a disrespect to the mantle itself. So that is the hugest problem, because you're selling something that the audience is expecting and you're not giving it to them. Now, I do like the Katie Frost relationship and how that plays with the team. I think it's cute. It's a twist on Frost that I'm okay with. But I can also say that it would not bother me at all if she left as well. So I'm kind of like on the fence either way. She doesn't bother me as much when she's there. She does this thing where she overacts with her hands, and I get it because they give her all of the science shit that she has to over-explain in every episode. Give her something else to do, but I don't feel like they really want to invest giving her something else to do. So I'm fine with giving her that role, and she does fine in that, seeing her go back to Frost. I have more fun with Frost than I do with Caitlin most of the time. But that's to be expected. That's why they have the dual personality there. But like I said, if she left, I would not, it wouldn't matter to me. And maybe it will be, because I heard there was something going on where the Flash had unfollowed her on Twitter at some point. But I heard that through the grapevine, and that was through someone else's podcast. So I can't even speak to how true that is. I have no idea. But good points that you make. And like I said, we're going to move on to your next email. So let me pull that up. Hello, darling. I recently listened to some of your previous podcasts for season 5 of The Flash, and I continue to enjoy hearing your perspective. You have me LOLing a lot. Thank you. Thank you for that. You're welcome. You're one of the few people that I've come to enjoy listening to about The Flash. Aw, I had a rough start with this fandom, but I'm glad there are rational fans out there that I can interact with, and it's a positive experience. I agree. That's so true to me. This is a very CW show. It's some of the things that I'm going to continue on. One thing I enjoyed you mentioning is the irrational behaviors regarding when it comes to West Allen. You talked about it in your episode 11 podcast about how juvenile and irrational some fans can be regarding West Allen. I found myself attempting to talk fans down from the ledge because they go on these rants about supposed BTS nonsense or some other drama, and I just can't deal sometimes because it's totally ridiculous. I'm like, these are actors paid to play a role on TV for our entertainment. They act out the scenes that are written. If the writers write in a kissing scene, they would act it out as if they've always done. Why are you making this personal? So true. These silly conspiracy theories and crazy gossip that some fans engage in really have me questioning not only how old are these fans, but their mental state. I've cut off a lot of my interactions with this fandom because it can be toxic and I don't have time for it. Unfortunately, some people live up to that fanatic title. Agree. I've pointed out numerous times how the EP Todd Helbing had stated in an interview before Season 5 even started that they would be focusing on Barry and Iris more so as parents than a couple. So whether fans like it or not, that's what was said from the get-go, and it's playing out on screen. It makes sense to me. Although Nora is grown, this is still new to Barry and Iris. They are navigating this as new parents, and as a new parent, your focus does tend to shift to your child. Yes, Nora being an adult puts a bizarre twist to it, but it still changes things. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind more lovey-dovey scenes. At first I thought we weren't getting those small moments from them, but as I rewatched some episodes, I recently noticed that they are still there. We are just not getting them as often. I will say whenever West Allen is the focus of the episode, I feel it flows better. That's why those episodes are the more popular episodes this season. I enjoyed most of the episodes in the first half of the season. The back half has dragged a bit. So you agree with the Lamia. We're all on the same page here about the dragging. I'm ready for things to be revealed and getting the fallout from that without it being rushed. I'm not going to lie, I'm not a huge Caitlin Killer Frost fan. I was a fan of season 2 Killer Frost. She was badass with attitude for days. I was okay with Caitlin in season 1. I don't enjoy the inconsistent origin stories. Ooh, facts on that. The convenient dual personality angle. Yep. I feel the current Killer Frost is a watered down version of the badass we saw in season 2. To me, those scenes with Caitlin and Killer Frost at odds about the cure didn't make sense. The cure wasn't supposed to affect her since her powers came from her father experimenting on her, not from dark matter. The Killer Frost episode was underwhelming. I'm not sure exactly what I was expecting. I guess a storyline that made sense, but it didn't. I'm not even looking forward to her father coming back. A part of me hopes they forget about bringing him back. I just wasn't impressed. Let me stop right there because we do need to say some stuff about Killer Frost that I can see your side of. I think I said already before how I feel. The thing that stuck out to me was what you said about the cure. That they did not even attempt to make that make sense in the show, and I think they gave a throwaway line like, "Oh, it's different dark matter." Well, no, you just wrote yourself in a corner and you didn't know how to get out. And it's easy to spot when it gets lazy. And sometimes I'd be like, oh, you just need one line. And then sometimes I'm like, no, you just actually need to stop. And it looks like you're going to get in here about the cure in a minute. So I won't go too far with that. I want to hear what you have to say. And I can see the whole Killer Frost being underwhelming this season, or Frost. Yeah, she's really not doing, I mean, other than the one episode where she did have me cracking up because she was with the team, and I do like seeing her with just watching the other members of the team react to her. That's fun for me, but Caitlin hasn't really done much. Yes, that episode, I don't even think I podcasted it because it was that underwhelming, and it was the worst episode of the season. The first half of the season has been ridiculously strong, and the second half has kind of been pick and choose. Not terrible, not season 4, but definitely it's a shame because they had such a high trajectory, and then it sucks to see the little dip. But they still, like you said, have 8 episodes. to really push it back up, and it's not that hard to do. And it's expected the show to have some, ebbs and flows where it dips a little bit, but you've got plenty of time to bring it back up. Hey, we're getting Joe West back. The fact that Cicada unfortunately is still going to be in it is problematic, very much so, and that kind of scares me. So let's move on to, you make a good point about the Metacure in regard to the future, and there's a reason why it's brought up now. My biggest issue was how they sprang the whole "I don't want to be a meta anymore" storyline on us for Cisco. There was no build up for it, so it didn't make sense. But I'll keep an open mind about where we are going with this Metacure storyline, because there are those that don't want their powers, they want a normal life. I agree with you saying that there was no build up for it for the Cisco thing. I think I talked a little bit about this, how my take on it, but I honestly can't disagree on the fact that that it did seem rather abrupt. If there was something to say, and I even went back and unfortunately, hey, I ain't perfect, I admit it. I even recalled myself. Remember when they had in Run Iris Run, and Cisco was walking the one guy out, I forgot his name already, and he's like, "Don't touch me, I like my powers," or something like that. And I was like, fuck, there goes my whole theory of Cisco. Granted, I still can excuse away the fact that Cisco just had a traumatic experience where he almost died and he was hunted for being Cisco Ramon. I still think that's valid. However, I do agree. In this case, yes, we add some lines. It would have just been a matter of dialogue in the meantime that you would have had him, or made that one of the excuses why when Carlos wasn't on the show. Say, you know what, Cisco is in therapy. Hey, we introduced that which, oh man, are y'all not sad that we don't have therapy back again? I am really sad that that's not a part of the show anymore, and that we have Nora here. Oh, like the opportunity, especially that we had Joe gone for the majority of the season, that would have been a good opportunity to get some of maybe the characters that have some of this type of moment. Like we could have seen a flashback of Cisco at therapy having, just one scene, like, I really don't want to tell the team, but I really just want my normal life back. That's all you needed. It would have taken 5 minutes to film, easily done, and then at least when he came back and said, you know what, and he broke it to Caitlin, we would have been like, okay, yeah, that was at least on his mind. It may have, just been, and it like I said, it's following the events, it would have made sense. So yeah, let's get to your last paragraph. I feel the cast is too big and we need to let some people go. I know fans don't want to hear it, especially if it's their favorite character that might leave, but I feel like we need to trim the main cast. Barry needs to start being Genius Barry again. Woo! Ooh, hold on. Ooh, I need to go take a drink of water. Oh, right there. Cause let me tell y'all something. This is the shit I want to be. Not fucking West Allen physicality. That's not the shit y'all should be bitching at the writers about. Y'all should be bitching at the writers with the fact that Barry is still fucking stuck on stupid. And he and Vince Gideon, I need to see that man. And he has not existed for quite some time. Y'all put him back in the field as being a forensic, but he makes it way past that shit. And stop treating him like he's still the lab rat. Come on now. He is a fucking genius. And I feel like we haven't touched the edge of Barry being a genius. And you're right in that. That's why Cisco doesn't need to be there, unfortunately. That's why Caitlin doesn't need to be there, unfortunately, because they're not necessary. You can bring in a new person for the tech, but the whole, you need someone to be your backup in the field, but shit, Iris got that shit on lock. Everyone else is just pretty much support. You can bring other people in that you don't even need to see that much, and they can take a more background role. And yes, the show does, unfortunately, that's where the fandom is right now. To bring up your West Allen point, I think you brought up a few lines up that the show, when they focus on their episode, it flows better, because that's what the Flash is. It's about the Flash family. It is not about all this other shit. And I get it, we want to branch that out. That's how it happened with Arrow and Cisco, and it's the trend. I get it, and I'm totally attached to these characters, but yeah, I do need the show to kind of, it's had 5 seasons of the same type of what do you want to say, the same wheelhouse. Let's switch it up. Let's get something new. Let's spice it up. If you want to go 10 seasons, which you totally can, let's change just the layout that we're dealing with here. Make the world bigger, which they've done this season. That's why I kind of like the small things, by bringing in the government, with the cure. Maybe this is something that's not going to end up in a villain's hand. No, this is something we're going to think we're doing good. We're going to give it to the government. And what does the government do when they steal people out there that are powerful than them? Well, fuck, we can use this shit against them. The group has already determined we're not going to use this against people. That's not something we're going to do. I don't see them going against that. I see a government doing that, and I think that would be a very compelling storyline to put in the future. Because if you think about it, like the mayor just resigned, they've had little strings of things that's always piqued my interest, just because of my knowledge of the comics a little bit. But the mayor keep resigning. How the city is cursed. They've made the city bigger. We've brought in the world of Gotham now. So we're merging the universe. We can go so many other places that it almost makes no sense. The fact that we can time travel and we can go to different Earths, and we're not fucking with that shit. That's so much more fun. Right? You can mine all the gold from there, seeing Iris in a different role than we're used to seeing her the villain. These are things that you guys have plenty of room to do, and it's kind of a little infuriating that we're having these stupid side plots about Cisco's dates, which are cute. Don't get me wrong, I love it about Cisco, and I'm glad they're writing him a nice, beautiful way out of the show. However, yeah, let's get to what people really are showing up for. And unfortunately, at this point in the story, the build-up in the last few seasons were great with Cisco and Caitlin, but at this point their stories are almost hitting a brick wall, and there's nowhere else to go other than familiarity with the fandom that love them, and that's their favorite character. Whew, had to get that all out, girl. That you said one line. Barry needs to start being a genius, and you started me on a whole damn tangent. Whoa, Lord, God. He doesn't need a doctor on demand. No, he doesn't. He's a speedster. He gets hurt. He heals fast. We don't need an engineer on deck every episode either. I feel a big cast makes it harder to give certain storylines the attention they deserve, because they have to try and give everyone face time during the episode. To be honest, the West Island crew needs to be the focal point. Give me more genius Barry and journalist Iris. There's the rumor that Carlos is leaving, so we'll see. And I believe in your next episode you are talking about, or next email you are talking about Carlos leaving. So definitely look forward to hearing your comments there. But yeah, you're so right. Again, a big part of the comics that were really popular was the Flash family. That's Bart Allen, that's Wally. Yes, let's get fucking Wally back. Let's get rid of Cisco and Caitlin, and let's bring Wally back to the team. Granted, again, that's then we wouldn't have Nora, because we have to sacrifice. That's the unfortunate name of the game. Budget versus what we want. We can't get all of the speedsters, so we do have to, and then the actor, I do believe he's the one that left the show, right? It wasn't the show that kicked him off. He wanted to pursue other things. The same with Cisco. He's not being kicked off. The show he wants to pursue other things. So this is a good opportunity, I think, for the show to really get out of their comfort zone and get a little uncomfortable. Start bringing in some of these cool concepts and the idea of fucking whatever. What was the name? Dark Sky, some shit. Get more into these people that people apparently want to see. I mean, look at Doom Patrol. I watched the first episode because everyone just kept saying it was so good. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm not with you on that one. I'm not. And it's mainly because I think it's just, I don't know. I think people are really getting attached to seeing what they have wanted to see in pages of a comic book come to life on screen now. And there are some fans that are totally committed to seeing the correct adaptation. Y'all know that ain't me all the time. And there are those that kind of want to see them branch out. I think that the Flash has an opportunity to do both. Going on to your last email. Got it here. Hello. I wanted to comment on your thoughts on Cisco's wanting to give up his powers. I understand why he would want to give up his powers. The problem is there was no lead up to that. There's been an issue on the show that the characters' perspectives aren't given a voice at times, so when their perspective changes, but we don't get any type of lead up, it can be frustrating. I shouldn't have to do a lot of work to connect the dots to draw conclusions as to why a certain thing is happening. Yeah, they have been, I would say especially this season more so, especially if I think we're going where we're going. I wouldn't even have those thoughts if I didn't read the comics, and that's homework. Just like you were going back to season 2 to explain his attitude. We shouldn't have to do that because since then, all we've seen is Cisco enjoying having his powers. I'm not saying we needed to have it be a focal point, but a comment here or there from Cisco previous to him having this change of heart about his powers would have been nice to see and good character progression. I agree. Again, I get why he may not possibly get rid of his powers, but I just would have liked more lead up to this than what we got. I really enjoy your podcast. Keep up the good work. Cheyenne. Thank you. Did I say Cheyenne or Cheyenne? God damn it. Y'all know I'm terrible with names. But just let me know, because Lamia was on it. She was like, no, let me tell you how it's said, girl. It's Lamia. Don't be pronouncing my shit wrong. So that's all I got for feedback. I appreciate hearing from you guys. Won't do another podcast before the new season, another bonus one, but there are a few things I did want to discuss. I should have brought up my Tumblr because I thought I had my topic points there. A lot of it I've already discussed. I don't want to talk on for 2 hours. And I know I really haven't answered your question, Lamia, about what my expectations are for the rest of the season. I am hopeful but worried, to be honest. Mainly because Cicada is still in the picture. Because even, I believe, Zack Stientz, I heard, is directing the, March? So I'm thinking right after King Shark. He's directing that episode. And I'm really worried. Because it's still dealing with Cicada, and they're talking about they're trying to get him stuck with the Medicare still. And I'm like, but why? I just want him to be gone. I want them to take him out prior to the 17th episode. If they can do that, they can really make me, this little Flash fan, happy. Because with the way he was rubbing that table, it's still making me feel uncomfortable. He's so rapey and he talks dumb, and I don't give a fuck about him. I don't give a fuck about Gracie. I just don't. And it's so sad because he started off so strong and they ruined him. So I'd just rather see him gone. The Medicare thing, like I said, that could turn into a big thing. Like if they announce the cure, all of a sudden the government breaks down on Star Labs. And, I don't think that's going to happen. They just break Star Labs completely down. And they're just like, the fuck, we're taking this Medicare cure? Or worse, fucking Cisco decides to, no, I don't think they do that. I don't think so. I was going with a thought and I immediately said, no, that doesn't sound, I wouldn't even want that to happen. I'm a little, I honestly don't know. I think I thought I had some feelings on where I want the season to go. I want the government to get the cure. I want Thawne to get out sooner rather than later. I don't want him to be in the prison until the last, because what we saw was 55, 54, whatever minutes on the clock. So I don't want to drag that out anymore. I think that's my problem, is I think they think they're going to drag that out till the last possible second. And that's where Savitar failed. It was like, oh, if you would have just revealed him just a tiny bit longer and let us really revel in that for a little while, like, man, it's fucking Barry. I think it would have done us a little bit more justice. That's what, to me, was the worst thing about season 3 was the fact that it just dragged forever. So yeah, Joe coming back. I hope that brings up Iris, because she's getting her boxing on. I hope she starts to carry a gosh damn gun. She needs to carry a gun. If she's gonna be out in the field getting yanked up, I love that. I don't want her agency taken away. Fuck off. She's smart. She should totally be able to go out in the field and take care of herself, and she don't need a teammate there to do it for her. And I don't like that idea. I hate when people say that. Oh, well, everyone needs backup. Yeah, but you're investigating. Why would I want to bring? I just don't. I don't. Anyways, yeah. And I thought that Camille was going to be a photographer and work for Iris, but I guess that's not going to happen. I heard a rumor that Ralph was supposed to get a love interest. Rather not. I would have preferred to see more of what's going on in the underground. Man, see, yeah, that's the shit I'm interested in. I want them to just do something else. And I don't think we're going to get it. I hate to say it, but where we're at, I think we're going to get some good nuggets. We're going to get some good, kind of how, like I've said, this is 22 episodes. It's a 2-hour movie stretched out 17 hours. If we can get 2 hours of good material out, it's kind of, for the most part, done its job. I hate to say that. It sounds terrible, but it's kind of the truth. And if it can do it more than at least 2/3 of it, it's fine. At least that's my criteria, I should say. And thus far, it's been okay. And, seeing more Cecile, more of the Flash family, being hit with the twins, I think, it's possible she could be pregnant at the end of the season, but I don't think so. Was it Lamia or Cheyenne? I believe Cheyenne. You said that, Todd Helby said this is going to be about them being parents. Why are people acting surprised? That was one of the topics I did want to get on a little bit, about the physicality being sort of some fans' expectations versus, how it relates to the show. Starting off, Rishon is my first ship. My truly ship to the point where I got on social media. I was in forums. My emotions were out of control. I mean, I literally went on half the day. I spent 8 hours just on Walking Dead forums, Spoiling the Dead websites, talking about Rishon from season, 3 to see up until their first kiss, all the way through season, I believe, until they got to season 7. And then after season 7, to be honest, I fell off a lot. I still fell into what was happening with Rishon, but as far as what was going on in the show, I was good with the clips. I didn't need to watch the episodes much. And the thing about that experience, what made it such a wonderful shipping experience, and why I've not had one since, really, even with Wes Allen, maybe because it's just they're a different kind of, it's I think I've said it before, I relate to more noir, darker kind of storylines and focusing on those type of aspects and characters. And Barry and Iris got a lot going on, but it's not always meaty. It's not always fatty and fleshy. Sometimes they go there, but for the most part, they do try to keep everything rather PG. They toss that when they jump the line, that's when the show gets interesting, the most interesting to me. That's why a lot of people liked season 1 and season 2, because the villains were just straight up gangsters. That's what it is. And the fact that the show doesn't understand that is kind of disappointing. But that's the feedback that we should be giving. I don't think the feedback in relation to the physicality between Barry and Iris as a couple should be an excuse to say, well, this season is shit. And that's where I hear people saying. And it's a little disturbing, to be honest, because the whole thing what was shown is that, you know, it was all about the looks, you know, the touch, the understanding, the bond, right? Breaking down their scenes together, breaking down the characters and why their scenes were important. It was so much more important for 3 years before we actually got them to kiss. I mean, the fandom went like fucking nuts when he freaking put the 2 fingers on. I will never forget that day, that moment. And I will never have that experience again, because there are not many shows that do that build up this really strong foundation, get this friendship. I mean, Roshone went from enemies to allies to connection to friend to family to best friend to lover to wife to mother of my child. I mean, watching every little step of that growth made the love between them so epic. With Iris and Barry, it's the length in which they will go for each other that makes their love epic. Not how many times he puts his tongue down her throat or makes a suggestion about wanting to bang her tonight. Yes, that's nice. And yeah, we're all adults. We got lust. We want to see our fanfics come to reality. But the reality is it's CW. That's the reality. It's not HBO. And shit, even on DC Universe app, if you saw Starfire and Dick Grayson getting together, you got 3 minutes of eye fucking and a cutaway. Okay? It's not, you know, that for some reason that's not how they want to have their characters acting. It's not that they don't get spicy. It's not even that we've had scenes that are spicy. They had that phase, right? They're in the married phase. Yes, they barely got through the honeymoon phase. They're in the married phase because they have a child now. They're dealing with the concept that, yes, life is going to be outside of themselves. They're still learning and knowing each other as adults, dealing with their own personal baggage that they have, and everything that they do together only cements their bond even further. And to me, the fact that when he's in a room full of people who are 10 times, in some ways, some would say smarter than Iris, it's her that he looks to for true, not approval, but he looks to her for that assurance. Like, yeah, I'm always going to check with you. You're wifey. Yes, we've seen him in the past not do that. So the fact that he's doing it now, to me, that's what the show is doing on serving West Allen its proper due, its proper justice. It's really showing these people as strong individuals on their own. They're movements by themselves, but they're a force when they're together. Team Flash. They did the whole fucking We Are the Flash for season 4 just to tell people, step off. This couple's here to stay. They are the real deal. They're the A-team. They're gold standard. And we even had a crossover focused on their wedding, even though it got crashed. It was terrible. And even the show has tried to make, an attempt with was it Dollhouse? I can't remember something. But they made attempts to really showcase the beauty, and him, Iris, or Barry that way, it has been really stepping up as far as supporting his wife. And Iris has really been shown to be the badass that she is. So the fact that they're giving them growth together and still giving them growth apart is so damn important, that to me, that you are focusing just on the most basic of things that bring two people together. Shame on you. And I'll say it, it's harsh. I just, that's how I feel. Just, it's a shame. It really is, because we don't get this representation often. And I get we want it front and center. I totally agree. I would love to have it front and center. But at the same time, I can see why you just don't annex our other people. People are unfortunately attached to, just because you're not attached to those characters doesn't mean other people are. I watch other shows where I'm just like, oh, fuck this bitch right here. I hate her. And I still watch the show. I don't sit there and complain too much unless when I'm podcasting. Because I am enjoying those other aspects of the show. Or even if I'm hating on it, sometimes I just rant a little bit and move the hell on. But to me, some of the people that are doing the ranting, they don't seem to have anything positive to say. And that's where I don't like it. You can have your criticisms, but when you don't have nothing to balance that out with, you're not giving a overall true perspective to something. You're just being biased. And I think that, yes, there could be so much more that would be nice to see as a fandom perspective. More cuddling. It doesn't have to be necessarily kissing. It could just be cuddling up. It could be, because the forehead kissing can get a little old after a while. However, again, they're not giving you nothing to say that Wes Allen is completely being disrespected or not enough of, or not in the show, or not the focus. I feel like people just take it 15 steps too far. It's like, whoa, you can voice a criticism, but it doesn't have to be so damn extreme. Why Cicada failed, I think I kind of went over that a little bit. He opened his mouth. Chris Klein cannot hold that character, unfortunately. He's fine in the get up, but then don't even film him in the daytime, because when I saw what pants he had on, I was like, oh, I wish I could unsee that. Oh, so what would I like to see for the rest of the season thus far? Again, I think I'd like to see Iris kill Thawne. No, that's not gonna happen. Because we do have Crisis, guys. So whatever is gonna happen, Thawne's gonna get out. He's going to be in Crisis. He's going to be involved in all of that. He's talking about his legacy. Yeah. His legacy as in, I don't fucking exist, I need to. And Thawne does have a child, and the fact that we're bringing the idea of parenthood in this could be a new way of getting him out and in the field, and him having a child with someone, and maybe getting our Bart Allen down the line. I don't know. But he's definitely getting out. And that's when the show is going to pop off. And I hope they deal with Cicada, and then right around 17, I'll even let it go to 18, that they're done with Cicada, and then we can really just go full steam ahead with with Eobard Thawne getting out, what his plans are, learning what Nora has done, and also getting to the future. Seeing the future Iris, I really want to see her. We still haven't had the conversation where Nora has addressed Iris about the fact that she killed Savitar, and the fact that she's kind of seen her mother become a rock. I think I've said this from the beginning of the season, that my hope is at the end of the season, Nora states that, it ends up that she thought Barry was the biggest, and that was, her idol, and she comes out of the season going back to the future, or being reversed of time or whatever, seeing her mom as the idol now, seeing the hero in her. And if they have twins, one could be a journalist for Iris, the son could be a journalist. I could totally be down with that. So yeah. Yes, exactly. Keep building this out. Have Thawne have a kid, and then the son falls to Thawne kid, and build out all the drama. Yes, get all the. That's what I want. I want all the build up to that. I want it. We can't go too far because I thought about the government thing, right? Because Central City loves the Flash. They're not going to be like they build a museum to him. They clearly are not. If the government does get the cure, they wouldn't. I mean to say that they would have it. I want them to have it it's secret first. They're like taking people. They're doing like DeVoe would do, just snatching people up, putting them in cars and vans, and it all becomes this maybe something that the young Rose is fighting against, and they decide to get the help of the Flash. Build these things up that you guys are promising us. You got these other characters on the side. You got these elements going. Take us somewhere with them, and again, let's keep building the world up. Let's keep, man, if I don't see another Earth soon, I'm gonna lose my shit. Especially if they keep referencing them. And I know we went to Supergirl's Earth, but I want to go for Supergirl's Earth. I want to go on Earth where and we've had the characters play different characters before, yes, but we don't get to see it very often, and I want to see more of it. Damn it, I want to see just some of the things that they can do, the cool retro concepts they can come up with. So before I go, is there anything else I wanted to touch on? I do not think so. So the show comes back in another 2 weeks, and we are going to get Gorilla Grodd versus King Shark. Now this is gonna be this can't fail, right? And Joe is back and teaching Iris how to kick ass. This cannot fail. So it looks like we're in for a pretty good treat. We had the Goldface, which I really enjoyed personally, and then we had Cause and Excess, which wasn't great, and then we're gonna get Grodd, which is gonna be good. So at least they're consistent on the one-off in the second half. It's kind of on the fence there. If you want to send feedback for future episodes of The Flash, you can send that to blackgirlcouch@gmail.com. You can find this podcast, Black Girl Couch Reviews, on Podbean, Stitchers, iTunes, and Spotify at Black Girl Couch Reviews. I'm on my tiptoeing my way on to the Umbrella Academy episode 3 next. See you soon. Bye.